We begin with breaking news as crews are on scene right now, battling a massive fire on Olympia Drive in Amherst. Welcome to Western Mass News, everybody. I'm Tyler Beraldi. Western Mass News' Amanda Martin Ryan is there on scene right now with the latest. Amanda, what?
All right, Tyler, since we last checked about a half hour ago, things look almost exactly the same as around 10:30. The fire, as you can see, it's still kind of tall. If you look on the right of where you can see the smoke coming up, at this time we have learned that that once was a 4-story building. It was under construction. We have that confirmed by a construction worker and by UMass Amherst at this time. And then next to that, where that 4-story building was another building under construction. That one had only gotten up to 1 floor. And then if you can see to the left of that where the fire truck ladder is, we have seen firefighters climbing up and going in. We do know that fire did spread to those floors of that building. Residents have been coming out and standing by, watching behind us, and probably the most emotional thing I have seen since we have been here for about an hour is firefighters coming in and out, reuniting students, what seem to be students, whoever was living here with their owners. It's been very emotional for those people just waiting and hoping that their pets will make it out safely. At this time, we don't know of any injuries. It's still too early for a lot of information at this time, like a cause. We were told by that construction worker that there's a lot of security cameras that were up showing the construction area, so hopefully that can help them find the cause. We also do know that getting water supply down to put out the flames has been a major challenge for these firefighters because there are no fire hydrants in this area. As you can see, it's like basically under construction. So there's dozens of fire trucks that have come on scene. More have been coming throughout the past hour that we have been here. Eversource crews, police officers are up about a a mile down the road showing or blocking off people so no one is, in a dangerous area. I was told to stay safe and stay as far away as the scene as I could, just because we have heard some popping, some bangs as firefighters are continuing to battle this fire. So we do have a statement from UMass Amherst that I want to read real quick. So they have confirmed some information with us at this time. Just bear with me for a second. My phone is still wet. It is raining out here as well, so I don't know if the rain has had any effect on getting the flames out. UMass Amherst says the university, the town of Amherst, and the management company for a privately owned apartment building adjacent to the fire are working to support student renters who are impacted. We are grateful for the community support for our students. I gotta say, that is definitely a silver lining here. I've seen students just hugging each other and really just bracing each other as they're getting through this tough time together. So, of course, we're going to be continuing to follow this. It's definitely a developing fire. At this time, I think the flames, for the most part, have been put out, but be sure to stick with us both on air and online as we continue to follow the latest on this fire. For now, reporting live in Amherst, Amanda Martin Ryan, Western Mass News.
We begin this evening with developing news tonight out of Amherst, where more than 230 students remain homeless after a devastating fire Friday evening that destroyed their apartment building. Welcome to Western Mass News at 6. I'm Chris Pisano.
And I'm Amanda Martin Ryan. We're bringing you team coverage this evening with Western Mass News reporter Matt Price on standby after learning more about community reaction. But first, we head to Western Mass News reporter Madison Lazowski, who's live from the scene with the very latest. Madison, 3 days later and efforts are still ongoing.
Yeah, Chris and Amanda, this weekend going down in history for the town of Amherst, the biggest fire the community has seen since at least the 1980s. Now, 232 students homeless for the time being.
This is the biggest fire the town has seen in decades.
It took crews nearly 72 hours to put out the fierce flames on Olympia Drive.
The students lost everything, and I really feel bad for them.
The Amherst town manager, Paul Bockelman, placing the area in a state of emergency on Saturday, stressing the severity of this situation.
We used the state of emergency for 2 reasons. One was to emphasize the need to reduce water by our residents, and the second was to be able to access any emergency funds that we might need during the process of fighting the fire.
That state of emergency lifted at 5 p.m. on Sunday, but still hundreds of students losing all of their belongings and their housing. Amherst Fire Chief Lindsay Stromgren sharing with Western Mass News that despite the building being modern and newly built, it was no match for those flames. Crews having to tear down the 5-story building while still trying to put the fire out.
That sprinkler system had no chance of dealing with that.
The cause of the fire is still under investigation at this time. However, there is a silver lining here. All of those students did get out safely, and there are no reported injuries. Now, for more on how the community is stepping up for those that are impacted by this devastating tragedy, we're going to turn things over to Western Mass News reporter Matt Price. For now, reporting live in Amherst, Madison Lisowski, Western Mass News.
All right, Madison, thank you very much. I've spent much of the day in Amherst just talking to folks about what they are looking to do to help those impacted by this very devastating fire. And let me tell you, support has grown by the day, if not by the hour. Now, all evening, we've been hearing from UMass students and Amherst residents who are doing what they can to raise funds and supplies for the displaced students. What we just found out a few minutes ago is the university's fund to help the students has received 1,600 donations since Friday night, totaling nearly $154,000. We caught up with one UMass grad student who initially started up a GoFundMe for the victims. He describes what was going through his mind on Friday night.
Immediately, I started seeing posts on Reddit about the fire and pictures and videos of the fire, and I said, oh my God, Olympia Place is the fire, and pictures and videos of the fire, and I said, oh my God, Olympia Place is burning. And then we saw the Red Cross truck go by, and that's when our biggest fears were peaked, and I said, well, I really hope everyone's okay.
And Young, who also works for a property management company, says in the aftermath of the fire, families were visiting his properties looking to see if there was any availability. He says whatever is raised through his GoFundMe will go to the university's fund to help displaced students. Now, if you'd like to help those displaced by the fire, we have information on how to do so. You just have to go to our website, westernmassnews.com, or our app. That's latest live from Amherst. Matt Price, Western Mass News.
All right, Dan, thank you. You're now looking at our first aerial view of the Olympia Place apartment complex in Amherst, where just 4 days ago, a devastating fire left more than 230 UMass Amherst students without a place to live. All that they left behind now in a pile of rubble that was once their home away from home.
And now, days later, those students are still waiting to learn when emergency financial help may be arriving.
Western Mass News reporter Madison Lisowski is getting answers. She's standing by live from the scene of the fire after learning more about the funds to support the students. Madison, any updates today?
Yeah, Chris and Amanda, we do have some new details from the university regarding fund distribution to those students. However, first I want to show our viewers some new aerial footage we got from our drone of the site behind me right now. If you guys take a look at your screens right now, crews may be done putting out the flames, but the aftermath is equally as shocking. Several students today both returning to the scene and visiting for the first time to witness the devastation with their own eyes. Northeast Fire Investigation also scoping out the scene, still working to figure out how this massive fire got started in the first place. Now, we've been reporting that the university is asking for help, specifically by contributing to or sharing the UMass Amherst Foundation Student Care and Emergency Response Fund. That fund, which has been in place since 2020, collects and distributes emergency financial support to students who are impacted by unprecedented events such as this one. And today, Western Mass News spoke with Emily Guest, the Associate Vice Chancellor for News and Media Relations at UMass, and she tells us that right now, those funds have not yet been distributed to students because this is an evolving situation, and the school is still assessing the needs of each of those impacted students. A link to the donation page and a link to the website where you can find out all the latest information regarding the Olympia Place fire. Both of those can be found on our website, westernmassnews.com. We also reached out to the owner of Olympia Place for the latest details and a comment from them, but we have not yet heard back. For now, reporting live in Amherst, Madison Lisowski, Western Mass News.